I stood at this very spot 26 years ago and fell in love with Penland School. So what makes Penland so special? Is it the people that come from all over the nation and abroad? It's definitely the caliber of classes you can take, ranging from clay to glass to iron to metals to paper making, book arts, fibers, photography, drawing, and painting? Or is it the fact that Penland School is nestled high within the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina in the most picturesque, most beautiful setting possible? Or I like to believe it's all of the above and a whole lot more. So let's take a closer look at what makes Penland so magical and meet some of the people that love this place as much as I do. What is it about Penland that you love so much, and what makes Penland School more than just a school?
Well, I think that you can tell by being here that it's this environment. It's partly about being in a retreat, you know, being out of your everyday work-life environment, but it's mostly the people. So it's the kind of people who come here to take classes, to teach classes. It's the people who work here. It's the people who volunteer their time to serve on our board or to come and help us out at our benefit auction. We have a lot of people who care deeply about this place, who've been students, who come back time and again. And it's the combination of the people who want to learn here and the kind of education that we offer. It's a nurturing, welcoming environment. People choose to come to Penland, but then after they've gotten here, they find that everybody else who chose to come here is coming for similar reasons. So they're having this chance to get to know people that care about the world in a similar way. They care about working with their hands. They care about craftsmanship in a deeply invested way. There's a sense of the quality of life and the quality of workmanship that everybody experiences together.
What do you say to that individual that's never been to Penland? They're kind of on the fence, they're thinking about it, they think they want to come, they're not sure they want to come. What's your message to them?
I like to tell people that if they just give themselves that time to be here, they will never regret it. That it will become the kind of place that they'll want to come back. They will not want to leave, and they'll want to come back to time and again, and that they will use what they learn here for years and years to come. That the kind of intensity that happens here is inspiring, and it's inspiring not just for the work that you're making, but for the life you want to lead.
Well, let me ask you something else, one final thought. Is there a fish behind me? I feel a presence. Is there a fish?
Yes,
is there a fish behind my head?
It. So Julia Woodman, who lives in Atlanta and has taken classes at Penland many, many times. She also has been an instructor here many times. She first learned with Heki Sepa, who's a very important metalsmith.
I know the
name. So she learned here at Penland, and so this is a memorial or a tribute to Heki Sepa that Julia made for the garden that's outside of this this metal studio. So we're in front of the metal studio and the clay studio, and she wanted to make something in tribute to her first teacher. To have that be here at Penland.
Hey, Vincent.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see
Welcome
you.
Back. Welcome back.
Thank you. You know, I'm like one of those that just can't stay away.
Yeah, we know.
Thank you. Well, now that I'm here, I got to tell you, I'm dying to get into the studios.
Okay.
Would you be our tour guide today?
Yeah, yeah.
Where are we going to go to first?
Let's head into the metal studio right now.
Metals, I love it.
In the metal studios here, people are working with precious metals, gold and silver, also copper, pewter, and making jewelry. Also working with gemstones, setting stones, so they're making jewelry, vessels, small-scale sculpture. A lot of soldering goes on in here. They're also tiny anvils, so they do a little bit of small-scale smithing, usually with silver and metals like that.
And let's talk about clay. Can we talk about clay?
Yeah, let's talk about clay. Clay workshops are one of the most popular offerings that we have here at Penland. And you know, when people think of craft, a lot of times the first thing they think of is a potter's wheel, somebody making a bowl or a cup or a mug on a potter's wheel, and we have lots and lots of classes where we do just that. We have other classes where people don't use the wheel. They build stuff from slabs of clay, you know, by hand. It's called hand building. And then also sculpture. You know, clay has this long important history as a medium for sculpture, and so we have a lot of sculpture classes as well.
So this is a brand new building too, isn't it?
Yeah, this building was built maybe 5 years ago, and this is the newest studio.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, we have this great class running that's in the book studio and the letterpress studio, and they're making artist books. And they're covering kind of the whole thing: bookbinding, imagery, printing on the letterpresses, and everyone in the class is going to make editioned artist books. And so that's what they're working on.
I'm excited to walk into photography because that's one of the disciplines that's really changed quite a bit over the years at Penland, hasn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, the whole technology behind photography has changed so much. The interesting thing about our photography program here is that as the photo world has become more and more dominated by digital photography, we've brought digital photography and digital photography classes into our program, but we're keeping all the old stuff at the same time. So we have a program that kind of covers, in a sense, every kind of photography that there ever was, because we have classes in 19th century photographic techniques, 20th century photographic techniques, i.e., you know, black and white darkroom, like you probably studied at Penland, and then we're bringing in digital photography, and we even have some classes that combine those things in interesting ways.
I find the wood studio so fascinating.
Yeah, it's a wonderful space. This studio was built in the last 10 years, and as you saw in there, it's just a fantastic place to work. Big open space full of workbenches, and then we have machine tools. That combined with this fantastic space that we have has really, you know, it's made our wood programs very popular at Penland.
Nice balance between patience and talent.
Yeah.
The Iron Studio is remarkable.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It reminds me of a train station. You know, it's got this, well, you have that sound, and then just the way it looks, you know, this high ceiling and the long building.
It's got a presence.
Yeah, it's got a presence. And it's been a fantastic teaching space for us, because it was designed so that you can do so many different things. And you know, as you walk through there, you can see all these different kinds of equipment, and each of those has a place in different kinds of classes. And but of course, the noise of the giant power hammers is, you know, that's the signal. There's something going on up here.
It's a cool signal. Whew. I can feel the heat coming from the glass studio.
Yep.
What can you tell me about glass?
Well, we have 2 studios in this building. One is for hot glass, where they're working with molten glass on the end of a blowpipe. You know, you've always seen those pictures. And then the other one is the flame working studio, where they work with rods or tubes of glass over a torch. And so those are kind of the 2 basic ways that we work glass here. And people make all kinds of stuff out of glass. Hot glass is kind of especially visual, because it's sort of balletic and it's fluid and it's very fast. You know, people work very quickly because they're working with molten glass.
They have to.
So you
got
to keep
quickly.
moving. Yeah, and that's really exciting. Glass is a really interesting medium because it has very special visual properties. You know, it can be reflective and translucent. It can be dull and opaque, and you can get all these fantastic colors out of it, and it's a material that really inspires people to make a lot of interesting different kinds of work.
Ian, I'd like to know, what makes Penland so special for you?
You know, it's unlike any place that I've had ever found before I got here. I came here in my early 30s after a lot of false starts in my life, honestly. And I feel like it was really able to wake up something in me that I didn't recognize before. It really brought out my best self. You know, it has an amazing combination of being incredibly non-judgmental and welcoming to total newcomers, and yet actually has a really high level of rigor. I left Penland after being here for a while, and it was difficult because you just don't find so many like-minded people in one place usually. And so, you know, there's a certain ethic of like, you know, frantically making things all the time and celebrating that and really valuing that, and you just like, that's hard to find anywhere else. And so that sort of inevitably leads to a kind of natural little community up here.